guys, it's been a while since I've done a journal flip and I have lots to go through. So this is a journal I just finished and I love this picture of Kobe and I, and I am going to show you the inside cover here. So anything covered in sticky notes is just private information. So I actually broke up with James, so a lot of the stuff is that's covered is personal information about him or about me, so I'm just being kind of cognizant of that. So this is what I've continued to do is this index here. So this is really fun for me, and I don't think I'm ever going to go back to not having an index. So every page, so I put a page number and I put a date and a subject, title, and question of the day. Sometimes I play around with that. In my current journal, it's just page, date, and title, and I make up a fun title or something. So some of the funny ones, let's see a funny one here. Cluckrin, TAs to testes. That's kind of bizarre. The Insurance Crashers, featuring Susan. One strike and you're off. Oily and angry. So a lot of these will make sense as you actually get to the pages. Hopefully we'll get to a lot of them during this video. If not, I'll probably have couple additional flip throughs, since as you can see this spans months. So I leave extra pages just in case I have more index pages, but I think I left a little too many that time. So this was at the Ontario Science Centre, the Tech Art Fair. So I was accepted into to exhibit there, and it was such an honor. I did this art project called the Future Master, and that's what I called it. And it was using one of those old ViewMaster, those slides that click, and comparing it to VR, modern VR. And I had I sculpted these little characters, and the guy's name was Ergo, so you had to find Ergo in both the VR world and through the ViewMaster. So that was really fun. There's about 10,000 people there, and it was and only 20 booths. So you could imagine the lineups, and James and my mom really helped out with that, so that was nice. And it was exhausting. So that was some of the comment cards. So I did this contest where people answer what their favorite part is, and some of the answers were really funny. What was your favorite part under his hat? I had the little clay guy there named Ergo. What's your favorite part? I like to find Ergo. My favorite part is when Ergo found the treasure, because I had a little story to it. So that was really fun. And this is when I started watching Altered Carbon. I didn't really get into it too much, but this is what I wrote about it. In this show, if you die, you just switch bodies. If I could live forever, I would not finish everything I want to do, because I always expand my goals and hobbies. That is one thing I worry about, is what do I want to do with my life. I think I am most at peace when I try to give my everyday life to God. I've been slacking on my Bible reading, but still am through a big chunk of it. So I've really been doing better since I wrote this with my Bible reading, and I feel really close to God, so that's been good. I've wanted to do dog dancing and haven't done that, so it's kind of fun to read through and see what you have and haven't done. This is from the Altered Carbon show. Telling the truth is not just an act of rebellion, but it's a revolution. And this was a funeral we went to. It was one of James's friends, and the guy died of a heart attack, and they were just talking about how much he loved KFC, like it was a good thing. And not to judge, but I'm a vegetarian, and I'm not one of those people that shoves it down others' throats, but they kind of made a joke about how much he loved KFC, and I'm thinking, okay, well, this guy died from eating too much KFC in Greece and died from a heart attack. So, I just wish people would learn, not only being vegetarian, but just eating healthier in general. Like if you are gonna eat meat, like eat lean meat, eat vegetables. Like, I mean, it's your body. You only have one body. You only have one life. So it's not a joke. I mean, I wish they had kind of used the funeral as like a, I mean, I guess you can't really use a funeral as a teaching practice, but what can you do, right? I went on the train park for the first time this day, and I've been on many since, and I love it. Skiing, it was so much fun. And this was kind of an interesting situation. Is this girl, I was kind of judging her a little bit on the bus to, I take a bus service to skiing, a ski club, and it turns out she was just having, what did I say that was wrong with her? Oh, what had happened is she was just like, she couldn't speak English very well, and so I thought she was just ignoring me on purpose, but she just felt really out of her element. She actually ended up in our level, and it was a disaster because we went on a black diamond, and she could hardly ski, and she ended up like rolling down the hill, and it took half an hour. We had to call these people. It was just like, I felt so sorry for her. She was so embarrassed, and it really changes your perspective on judging someone, right? So, oh, sorry, I just wanted to check that the flash was on because you wouldn't be able to see. So I really enjoyed that this year. And I was proud of myself. This is one of these empowering things that I did is I was really exhausted from skiing, and it was a ski night where they had dancing and stuff, and I was just so spent from the day that I thought, you know what, I need to take care of myself. I'm not going to force myself in this social situation. And I just literally went downstairs and hung out with these kids playing a card game because I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So I just kind of sat next to them and journaled, and I felt really energized for the way back on the bus, and I was able to talk to people. So just taking care of myself and knowing my limits is important. These were notes I made in class, so a lot of times I draw in class, and people will come up to me and they'll be like, oh, why are you drawing in class? And then they'll see my marks, and and then they stop complaining. But I got a 73 on this exam. So what happened is I was first year philosophy, and I took a third year class. I don't know why, but I think I'm pretty good at philosophy. And I ended up teaching the study group for that class for about half the class. I led the study group. So I was really good at it, but I only got a 73 on the exam because he had added all these things that we hadn't even gone over yet. So I was really upset about that. And yeah, he just wasn't a good prof, but I was still proud of myself for I ended up getting a B+, and I'm like, that's not bad, a lot of the classes dropped out and failed, so, and I don't blame them, believe me. Not to sound arrogant or anything, I'm just really excited that I found a subject that I can actually feel like I'm good at, because a lot of my life I always felt like with my anxiety that my teachers didn't believe in me, or they thought I was dumb or lazy because I didn't go to class because of my anxiety. So it's really nice to be recognized by my peers and my profs and be told that I'm a good student, and it's really made a big difference for my self-esteem, and I like helping others and helping them learn, and it helps me to explain the terms and stuff. But we were reading Immanuel Kant's Critique of Pure Reason, so that was pretty dense for me. It's a first semester philosophy student. So this was in my old neighborhood with James. I used to walk around the neighborhood really late at night with Kobe, my dog, and some of you know him from other videos. He loved raccoons, and raccoons loved him. So there was one night, and this is the picture I drew, where there was literally like 20 raccoons in this person's yard, and they just all were up and down several of these trees, and Kobe was just there at the fence, and I was there, and we just stood and looked at each other for like 10 minutes, and I was so close to them, I could see like their little noses running, and I just love raccoons. Some people might be grossed out, but it was such a special moment to be so close to wildlife. And I don't know why a lot of animals just kind of approach Kobe. Like, I've had deer walk up to him, and squirrels and raccoons. It's just, I really think they can sense how good a dog he is. So this is a page I really like. This was a drawing from when I went on a backpacking trip to Lion's Head. It was the one and only time I actually went with someone else. That was kind of interesting. And how much time do I have? Okay. And this was, I have my username on the PS4 is Chocked. So I was really into, what was that game? I don't even remember. This is how much I play video games. Fortnite. So I was really into that, and I made my username and everything. So I wanted to make a stamp for letterboxing because I have the same username on letterboxing, Chocked. I always think of weird, random usernames. And I got really good at Fortnite. I actually had a LAN party. We had it with our neighbors. I feel like such a nerd. And they were kind of like, so we were the last team, and it's kind of, you have to kill all the other teams, and the last one left standing is the winner in the team section. So we were all playing on this team, right? And everyone's like, oh, just hide, because they didn't think I could shoot the guy very well. There was one person left. So I was like, you know what? I gotta prove my worth. And so I jumped out in front of this guy who must have been pretty good because he was also the second last person. And I got the game-winning shot, and it was just like, it was so amazing. I love that. Okay. This is when Susan, my good friend, and I actually met her through skiing. She somehow has a really good eye for finding private parties and sneaking into them. And so we snuck into this insurance party, and I just kept telling people I was her assistant because she actually worked in insurance before, so she kind of knew how to fake it, but then I just was clueless. But there was a guy there that was into cryptocurrency, so I just started talking to him about that, and then I looked like I fit in somewhat, and that kind of worked out. York, my school was on strike for the longest time, and oh, this was cute. This guy in the class, this really, really nice guy from China, he saw me drawing in class, and he took one look at it, and he said he really liked it, and that, people drew in class in China, and sometimes the teachers liked it, sometimes they didn't. He had this whole story. But he offered to bring me his calligraphy work, and I just thought it was so sweet. And then this is a joke that I came up with, oh, how did you come up with this piece? Oh, I had this insert person here that you hated from college or high school or whatever. We were great friends, and I used her essence as a model. So you draw a really ugly picture and say, that's kind of funny. I just thought it was a funny passive-aggressive thing I would never say, but it was just kind of funny. Then I saw the Black Panther. This was my first letterbox I made. This was the stamp here. It's called Rita Mae Way. And it's really, really worth pausing and reading, if you ask me. It was this big arch in this garden, and it said Rita Mae Way. So I made up this story to go with it. And the artist that made the arch actually found the letterbox and explained to me the real story. I guess Rita Mae was the dog of someone really influential in the neighborhood, and so that he had created that in honor of her and her love of animals and her dog. But this was the story I wrote that was completely different than that, and he actually really liked it, which made me feel really good. And it was, what are the chances that the real artist would find it and not actually be upset about it, right? And this is just planning for my school career. This is talking about sugar snap peas. So my family, including all the dogs, really, really like sugar snap peas. So I'm going to let you go, and I'll see you on the next flip through. Coming up soon, part 2.